what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel. This is your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken. Today, guys, we are here to review, talk about, showcase, and unbox the latest Second Sight 4K edition of the Hitcher. Look at this thing, guys. Is it not a beauty? This big, gigantic brick box set from Second Sight Films. Look, let's just take a moment to appreciate Second Sight Films for everything that they've done for us the past few years. Like, so many, and I know Second Sight's been around for a long time. They've been doing incredible releases for a long time, but like, I just got into them back in late 2020, 2021 with stuff like The Guest and Dawn of the Dead, and Drive, that 4K box set. Like, they have just done some of the best editions that there are, and it always feels so good to add a new Second Sight Films edition to the collection. So what I like to do with these guys, these reviews, is make the Second Sight reviews almost like an event. We're going to review it. We're going to review the picture quality. We're going to talk about the movie for a little bit, special features, all that stuff. But I'm also going to take you to the unboxing table, and we're going to do a full in-depth unboxing of this box set right here. I just watched this last night, so I'm excited to talk about it. But before we get into it, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We talk about all things physical media here on this channel, Blu-rays, 4Ks, owning the movies that you love, all that stuff there behind me every single day. Also, be sure to hit that like button and comment down below, guys. What are your thoughts on the Hitcher? Like, are you excited to get this? We've been waiting on this for a long time, guys. I think Second Sight announced this either in late 2021 or early 2022. So either way, like, it's been almost 3 years, like, since they first announced this, which just goes to show you, like, Second Sight's not going to put something out unless they get it right. I think they had some complications along the way. They've updated us numerous times. Like, Second Sight tries to keep us informed, keep us in the loop. That's why I love Second Sight. It feels like a pretty transparent company. You know, by and large, they're not going to let us know everything that's going on, but they try to keep us updated with their posts on Instagram, so social media, Twitter, X, all that stuff. They try to keep us in the loop, and I appreciate that. And they kept us in the loop for the Hitcher for a long time because they knew this was going to be one that was long awaited, that people really wanted to get on physical media in the higher definition. Because I don't, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but there has not been a Blu-ray or a 4K version of the Hitcher in the States ever. The last time that this was released was on DVD. Now, I will say, guys, before I get into this review, there is a US version that is coming up from Warner Brothers. So there's going to be a 4K standard edition. There's going to be a Blu-ray standard edition. So you do not have to import this big box set released from Second Sight. But if you really love the movie, we'll get into it, but I highly recommend you do, because this is the definitive version of the film. But that 4K that's coming out from Warner Brothers has the exact same transfer as the Second Sight. So I can only imagine it was some kind of a licensing deal where Warner Brothers licensed this to Second Sight in exchange for the transfer that they did, the work that they did, so they could release it in the US and Second Sight could release it in the UK. But if you're in the States and you still want this set like I did, you can import this from Diabolic or Orbit, but you cannot order it from the actual Second Sight website if you're in the US, because they have that restriction because of the US 4K and Blu-ray release that's coming out. And I think that's coming out on October the 22nd. So I do want to make all that information available to you guys. But yeah, the Hitcher, I watched this actually, and people are going to say, Ken, I can't believe you watched it for the first time. But I watched it for the first time this year, and I actually watched it for the first time with this Umbrella edition. So I did a video earlier this year just kind of breaking down this Umbrella edition and my thoughts on my first time watch. I liked the movie, but to be completely honest, I did not love the movie. And I know there's a lot of people that are super nostalgic for this movie. They love the film, but I will say, I think it was just like my expectations. I was expecting it to be more of like a full-blown like horror movie, like horror slasher film with Rutger Hauer. And it kind of is. It is that as well. But it's also an action film. It's also a thriller, comedy in some parts. There's a little bit of comedy like sprinkled throughout. But it's not a full-blown like horror film. Like, it is kind of like the blending of Steven Spielberg's Duel with the Terminator. Like, I saw a lot of Terminator in Rutger Hauer's character in this film of the Hitcher. So, but it's a good movie. I enjoyed the film, and I think I enjoyed it even more watching this Second Sight 4K edition. I learned to appreciate it a little bit better because I knew what to expect going in. Whereas before I was expecting one thing, I got another thing, and that could be jarring sometimes when you're watching a film for the first time. But this time it's like I knew what this movie was, and I just kind of let the movie take me along for the ride again. And it's a hell of a ride. Like I said, tons of great like action set piece moments. I think C. Thomas Howell's fantastic. Rutger Hauer's fantastic. I love Jennifer Jason Leigh and like everything that she's in. So she's always appreciated whenever she shows up. Some really cool like, kill sequences in the movie. And there's some like genuinely disturbing stuff that happens, I would say more or less in the first like 20 to 25 minutes of the movie that kind of unsettles me. That is unsettling. So like I said, it really is a lot of things in one. It's a horror film. It's a thriller. It's an action movie. Like it really just kind of balances and blends a lot of different genres, and it does it incredibly well. I think Robert Harmon did a really incredible job directing this film. So my thoughts on the movie has improved from the last time that I watched it. Now, before we get into talking about the restoration and the special features and all that stuff, I do want to go ahead and go to the unboxing table because I know you guys want to see what's inside this damn thing before we get further into it. I do want to go to the unboxing table, do the unboxing, then we'll come back and talk about the transfer and the special features. If you're ready, let's do it. All right, guys, so here she is in all of her glory, the beautiful Second Sight 4K edition of the Hitcher. This thing is just outstanding, guys. And I'm going to show you the back right here. This is the J card on the back, but this is kind of a different type of a J card. It kind of comes out like that, kind of cups the bottom. And I will say, I don't know how this happened. Like maybe I did it when I took it out to watch it. I don't think that I did, but I think I might have. My J card kind of came ripped. But I'm not going to blame anybody. I'm not going to get upset about it. I don't really care about the J cards. Ultimately, I do like to keep them, but it's fine. But, right there you got the synopsis of the film. You got all the special features, which are just incredible. We'll talk about it. And then we got the limited edition contents. You got the casting list. You got the specs down there at the bottom. I'll try to focus that so you can maybe read it. And then you got Second Sight Films. Go ahead and show you the side right there. The other side, we'll take off this cupped J card. And then I'll show you the side again, show you the back. You got C. Thomas Howell on the back, which is awesome. And then you got Rutger Hauer on the front with that shotgun, which is just incredible. I love the artwork. I mean, I think the classic artwork is, pretty iconic. That's what the umbrella version has. But like this is super nice too. I love the orange aesthetic. I think it kind of matches the film pretty well. But let's go ahead and try to dump out all the contents here, guys. And first up, we'll look at the discs. And one thing I will say, guys, about Second Sight, if I have one critique, it's, I would rather just have like a regular 4K case in here. And I mean, they do have those because that's how they release the standard 4K and the standard Blu-ray editions, which are also available as well. The regular 4K if you don't want the box set, and the standard Blu-ray if you just want the features, but you don't really care about 4K. But, it's not that I don't like these little digibooks, which here's the disc art, guys. You got the 4K right here, and then you got the Blu-ray. Now, both of these have the special features on them, guys. So you don't have to switch discs to watch the special features. All the special features are on the actual 4K, and that's a 100 gigabyte disc, guys. So you have the room, and you're not going to have issues with compression and all that stuff. I don't really know like how Second Sight pulls it up, but they do. It like doesn't compromise the look of the 4K at all to have the special features on the disc, because I know that's a concern for some people. But I do like these digibooks. I like the artwork on them, but I also just like me a nice standard like 4K in case I want to take it out and just have the 4K case. I don't know. I'm weird, I guess. Is anybody else with me on that? But yeah, nice little digipack right there. I'll go ahead and rip this off and show off these nice art cards, which are spectacular. Like the artwork with this release, guys, is among the best. Ooh, nice Jennifer Jason Leigh. Is among the best I've seen Second Sight do. It really is incredible. I think it's six art cards right there. Right here, you've got the screenplay of the film. So there's two books in here, guys. There's this paperback book, which is the screenplay of the movie. Which, look, I'm not saying that I'm going to sit here and read the screenplay of The Hitcher like anytime soon, but it's cool to have. Like, it's cool to have this kind of stuff, in your collection to be a part of the release. And there are some people that might care about reading the screenplay of The Hitcher. It's a good screenplay. And then right here you have the big hardback book I like to slap that thing to emphasize how hard it is. The Hitcher, that didn't sound right, did it? The Hitcher on the front, and then you got the spine, and then you got the landscape on the back, which is awesome. Now, this thing is full of, I believe, interviews with the director, and there's like tons of essays and information on the film itself. There's tons of great pictures. You got a lot of good information on the film. Like, if you're super interested in just like digging into everything Hitcher, like there's just tons of stuff, writings from people talking about the film historians. Robert Harmon himself, I think, has got some stuff in here also. Yeah, lots of great information in here, guys. It's always nice to have these booklets for sure. But that is the unboxing of this incredible Hitcher box set. Let's get back to the review on the special features and the 4K and the audio. Let's do it. So getting into the 4K restoration of the Hitcher. So like I said in the opening, guys, like Second Sight, they take their time and they make sure they get stuff right. That's why we waited for this for so long. There were complications. And I can say this, they 100% worked around those complications. Those complications are not noticeable in this transfer. They went around it and delivered to us one of the best 4K restorations of an 80s film that there possibly could be. The Hitcher on 4K simply looks magnificent. It's got the HDR, it's got the Dolby Vision. When I'm sitting here comparing it to the Blu-ray edition from Umbrella, it's really night and day. Like, when I watched this Blu-ray, like, I thought it looked fine, but to be honest, like, I thought the movie itself was just kind of ugly. And I was honestly thinking to myself, like, well, I don't know if I want to see this on 4K, because I don't know how much of 4K is really going to help this movie. But I don't know, like, I haven't seen this movie. Like I said, I just watched it for the first time with the Umbrella version. So I don't know how it looked back in the theaters back in 1986. I don't know how it looked on Laserdisc or VHS or DVD. But I imagine the way that this looks now with this Second Sight release is the way that it should have looked back when it came out in the theaters and on DVD and Laserdisc and VHS. Back in the day. It looks incredible. The HDR is bringing out all of those colors. So much incredible scenery. I compare it to, Thelma and Louise has that like incredible like desert landscape and mountains and just that type of setting. Looks magnificent in 4K. All of the colors, the oranges, the blues of the sky, like just look incredible in 4K, but the detail is amazing. Like right from the opening in the car when Rutger Hauer gets in, he's got the water dripping down his face. You can see every little like speck of water on his face, the little water's driplets off of his nose. It all looks incredible. There's so much great detail in the faces. The scene with C. Thomas Howell towards the beginning of the film, where he's rolling around the gasoline and he's got the red shirt on, the flannel shirt on, that looks so good in 4K. All of the great explosions and set pieces, like fire in general, looks spectacular in 4K with that HDR and the Dolby Vision. That's one of the reasons why I just want more action movies on 4K. And this is, like I said, pretty much an action film. All those explosions, those set piece moments just look amazing in 4K. And there's so many great like action, like spectacle set piece moments and chases, car chases throughout the movie that look excellent. But the colors are just amazing with this 4K, with that Dolby Vision, that HDR. And that was not present on this Blu-ray release. And this might have been the first time that this was put out on Blu-ray, at least in Australia. There may have been another Blu-ray of the Hitcher at some point. But from my understanding, like, it was a long-awaited upgrade from DVD. Like I said, the Blu-ray looks fine, but the colors are so flat on this release right here. So muted. Like I said, I thought it was just the movie. I thought the movie was just an ugly film. But watching this on 4K, it changed the entire experience of watching the Hitcher. This 4K looked absolutely outstanding. And for sure, the best this movie has ever looked. Like, Second Sight does not disappoint, so do not worry. If you're a Hitcher fan and you've been waiting for this release for a long time, 2-3 years for the Hitcher on 4K from Second Sight, they did not disappoint you. They will not disappoint you. This is fantastic. You will love this 4K release of the Hitcher for sure. But just a fantastic 4K, one of the best of the year. So natural, so much incredible detail, but that grain structure, guys, look, if you're not a fan of grain, if you're a fan of the James Cameron 4Ks, which, I liked them okay, just super polished and super scrubbed and just looked like they were run through a CGI computer, You might not like this 4K, but if you're a fan of like these more classic like film restorations with a nice grain structure, and it actually looks like a film that was made back in the 80s, but it still has all that incredible detail as well with the HDR and the colors. Like if you're a fan of those type of transfers, like the Vinegar Syndrome, like the Arrow Video type 4K restorations of these classic films from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, you will love the Hitcher on 4K. It is just one of the most perfect 4K restorations that I have ever seen. Now, getting into the audio, guys, you have the Dolby Atmos upgrade here for the audio. Sounded magnificent. Now, I'm not going to pretend I had that full Atmos setup. I've got a soundbar that kind of simulates that Atmos setup, that has that kind of the speakers on the top and everything that's supposed to reverberate off the walls. And I've got the subwoofer. Sounded excellent. Like I said, there's so many great action set pieces, and there are moments in this movie where I got the sound up, and I feel like I am there on the road with the Hitcher, like engaging in battle with the Hitcher. So it is excellent sound, really is truly excellent sound. The score is amazing in this film, and that sounds excellent as well all throughout. So if you got that full Atmos setup, you are going to definitely appreciate the sound upgrade for the Hitcher on 4K from Second Sight. And lastly, guys, let's dig into the special features here. I've got the J card that I'm going to read off of. There are some incredible special features with this set right here, like absolutely amazing, lengthy special features. I've said this before about Second Sight, but it feels like with Second Sight, like all the other labels, maybe Vinegar Syndrome, they're pretty good about it, but and Arrow Video is as well. But it feels like a lot of labels, like they just rush through their special features, 5-minute interviews, 10-minute interviews. Second Sight lets their special features breathe, and it's like they don't care how long they are. There is a 40-minute interview with the director, Robert Harmon, new interview with the director talking about the making of this movie. And it's just incredible, just reflecting on this film. And it's a fantastic, absolutely amazing interview, worth the price of admission alone. But you also got an interview with the writer, Eric Red, which is fantastic. You got an interview with C. Thomas Howell, which is about 30 minutes, which is just incredible. Like, he is so passionate about movies in general, but also this movie. And he just goes all in on just talking about this movie, when it came out, how it was received by the critics. He talks about, kind of goes in on Siskel and Ebert a little bit, which is funny because apparently they didn't like the movie when it came out. But that's a really great interview with him as well. You got the director of photography, an interview with John Seal. And you also got a new interview with Mark Isham, the guy that did the score to this film. You've also got dual runner, Leigh Singer, on the evolution of the Hitcher and Rutger Hauer. So that's a nice little video essay right there. You got some other stuff in here. Audio commentary with Robert Harmon and writer Eric Red. I think that's a past audio commentary. You got a new audio commentary with Alexandra Heller-Nicholas, which I've talked about her before, but she's like on everything. You've got a scene-specific audio commentary with Robert Harmon. You've got the Projection Booth podcast featuring Robert Harmon and Rutger Hauer, so I imagine that's a little bit older of a special feature. You have also got China Lake, the short film from Robert Harmon, which I think he did right before The Hitcher, because he did talk about that in a special feature. You also got the calling card, Robert Harmon on China Lake, so him talking about that movie. Telephone, a short film by Eric Red. The Hitcher, How Do These Movies Get Made, which I think that special feature, it's about 40 minutes long. That's an archival special feature that I imagine came out during the DVD release of the film, but that is actually on the Umbrella version. I remember watching that on the Umbrella version, which is a great special feature, just everybody, the cast and crew. That one actually has Rutger Hauer in it, talking about the Hitcher, so if you want to see him talk about the film, because obviously he can't now, he's passed away, that's a good feature to watch for sure. But this has everything, guys, in terms of special features, in terms of extra content with all the booklets and stuff, guys. This is everything that you could ever want for this movie in one release. Now, I understand it. If you don't want the postcards and the booklet and the box set, you can get the standard release, guys. I think it's like $26, $27 on Diabolic, maybe a little bit more. You can get the standard release for a lot cheaper. You're still going to get all these incredible special features. You're still going to get the movie on 4K, and you're still going to get all that great stuff that goes into this release, minus the booklets and stuff like that. So don't think you have to get a $55 box set. You don't. To me, that's like one of the alluring aspects of Second Sight, is their gorgeous box sets. You don't have to get that if you're not into that. There's also a Blu-ray release as well if you don't care about 4K and you just want to get all those special features. So lots of great options for the Hitcher on 4K. Like I said, if you're in the States, there's going to be a standard 4K release, standard Blu-ray, but it's just not going to have all the features that this does. So thank you all so much for watching this review. This is a high recommendation from me. It's one of the best releases of the year. Definitely, if you're interested in this film, I do recommend this. So thanks again for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on those bell notifications for all future videos and follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.